Hi guys, this is Nightly Haven. I'm your host Nikki, and if you like the creepy and mysterious and curious, this is your place. So, sorry about the wind. It is awfully windy here today. And we're going to talk about a little haunted college that I went to called Keystone College. Now, there are places that don't just hold history, they absorb it. And sometimes they don't let it fade. Keystone College is one of those places, tucked away in rural Pennsylvania, surrounded by quiet hills and long stretches of trees that seem to swallow sounds at night. It looks peaceful at first. A normal college, dorms, classrooms, hallways, students rushing in between classes. But when you stay long enough, when you actually live there, you start to notice something underneath, something quieter than noise, something heavier than silence. I didn't just hear the stories about this place. I lived there. In one of the dorm buildings on my campus, in that very building, there was a story everyone knew. A student had taken her own life in the bathroom. Nobody said it loudly, but everyone knew. And after that, the bathroom was just never really the bathroom again. People would talk about it in pieces. Never directly, never fully, but enough to plant the idea in your mind that something had changed there. Because when you walked past it at night, the air didn't feel the same. Not colder, not warmer, just heavier. Like the building was holding something it didn't want to release. And sometimes late at night, people would hear crying. Soft, distant, coming from inside the bathroom area. Not constant, not predictable, just there. Long enough to make you stop walking. Long enough to make you question whether you really heard it at all. And I remember those nights clearly because I lived right there and I couldn't always tell if it was imagination from people or if the building was remembering something that wasn't supposed to hear. And here's the part I still don't fully know how to explain. My dorm room. It never fully felt like mine, not like a normal new place way, more like I was occupying something that already had a story attached to it. Like the space had a weight before I ever stepped inside. There were nights I would sit there alone and feel like I wasn't the first person to sit in that exact silence. Like the room had already learned how to be lonely before I got there. I would get depressed and down. As soon as I left, I would be fine. And when you're young and tired and stressed from school, you try to ignore those feelings. You tell yourself it's just adjustment, just imagination, just college life. But some feelings don't fade with logic. They just get quieter. Then there's Moore's Hall. Students don't describe it like a building. They describe it like something that moves wrong. Late at the night, when everything else is shut down, people report seeing a dark silhouette pacing near the windows. Back and forth, not rushing, not wondering, just repeating. I saw this myself. It was darker than the dark. It would go across the window. It would look out. You could see the silhouette, but you couldn't see a face. And that's the only way I can describe it. It was darker than the dark. Like it's stuck in a loop that it can't break out of. I'm hoping the wind doesn't affect hearing on this. And the unsettling part is how normal it looks at first glance. Until your brain catches up, until you realize nobody should be moving like that at that hour, in that place with no light on inside. And the moment you realize that, it's usually gone. But the place that stayed with me the most, probably because I spent the most time there, was the art buildings, and especially the drawing studio, where students would stay late sketching under flickering lights while the rest of campus was completely still. That's where people would see her, a Native American girl, quiet, still, never aggressive, never loud, just present in a way that didn't feel like she was trying to be seen, more like she was simply there. Existing in the same space as everyone else, but not bound by the same rules of invisibility. Sometimes at the edge of a hallway, sometimes reflected in glass, sometimes standing in the doorways that should have been empty. And every time I heard someone talk about her, they never described fear at first. They described stillness. Like the presence wasn't something chasing you. It was something observing you from a place you couldn't fully reach. And then there was the smell, lavender, not once, not randomly, but consistently tied to her presence. No source, no explanation, just the sudden arrival of it in the air. Soft at first, almost like a memory trying to surface, and then unmistakable, like the entire room had shifted into something else for a moment. And people don't describe it like a scent, they describe it like a connection, like something signaling that she is near, and when she's gone, so is it. Like both were never meant to be separated. When you stay in a place long enough, you stop separating stories. The bathroom, the dorm hallways, more hall, the art buildings, the girl, the shadows, the lavender, the fact that it's rumored to be built on an Indian burial ground. It stops feeling like the individual hauntings and starts feeling like layers of the same thing, like the campus is holding into moments and never fully released. And when you live there, really live there, you don't always ask if it's haunted. You start asking something else. Why does it feel like it remembers me? There are things I can't prove from my time there, but there are things I also can't forget. And Keystone College in Plume, PA is one of the most places that stays with you, not because of what you can explain, but because of what you felt alone in the dark when no one else was around and the building felt like it was still awake. And they still, I believe, or they used to, do haunted tours every year in October. So, thanks for staying till the end and have a good night, guys. Bye.